All righty. Hello, everybody. We are here.
Hi,
New
Michelle.
Earth Rising. Yay.
Awesome.
So excited. Welcome to New Earth Rising, our new YouTube channel. And we're so excited to be here bringing you all kinds of information, everything metaphysical, mystical, magical, from above and below and everything in between. We're so happy you guys are watching. We're so happy to be here. And today we're here with my cohort here, Sharon Sanandakumara. Beautiful, beautiful. Welcome, Sharon. Thank you for showing up again.
Yeah, right. I came back. Yay. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Michelle. And I'm really, really excited that we have the opportunity to chat with Ningay. And so excited to be able to chat with you today. Those of you who don't know me, you're welcome. Those of you who don't know me, I am Sharon Sanandakumara, and I have a practice in the Portland, Oregon area as a psychic medium, channel, hypnotherapist. I specialize in past life therapy, and I'm all about the woo-woo, I guess you could say. It's my life. I also teach classes. I have an academy, the Kumara Academy of Transformation, and I have a new course coming up on February 11th, learning how to channel and automatic writing through automatic writing and channeling development. And so I'm really excited about that. And next month, I have another course on out-of-body experiences and lucid dreaming that I'm co-facilitating with the amazing Preston Dennett. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, I know, right?
Very cool.
Yes.
Thank you, Sharon.
I know Ningay has a lot to share, so I'll leave it to you, Michelle.
Yeah, Ningay. I want to invite you. This is Ningay Nancy Singh. She goes by Ningay, such a beautiful, beautiful name. And Ningay, her whole heart and soul is really about childlike, like that childlike wonder and that wisdom that goes with it. And it's so beautiful. I was so drawn to you, Ningay, because of your beautiful energy, because of that childlike joy. You know, Sharon and I both we just live in that all the time, and you're such a perfect fit here. And we welcome you. We welcome you, and so happy that you're here. And I know today we're going to talk about your course that you were doing that's called 8 Secrets to Reclaiming Childlike Wonder and Ageless Wisdom. And it's so exciting. And so first of all, tell me, how did you create this course? Like what inspired you to create this course? What is the beginning?
Okay. The beginning, or I'll give you the beginning of the course beginning. How's that? Okay, what inspired me initially is, I'm telling you, turning 60. I wasn't expecting it. I don't know why it was such a biggie, but it whopped me in so many ways. And, you know, I could go into detail on that, and I maybe later we'll do that if you ask another question about it. But basically, I felt like I was just up against it. I mean, like in the mirror, you know, with the newly formed wrinkles and sagging skin. And I'm in the mirror.
I like to call them wisdom lines.
Thank you. Let's reframe that, right?
Right.
So I'm really in the mirror at myself. And not just that, you know, there were a lot of things. I was like, retirement? Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. It's like, it was just all hitting at once. My mother passed. And it was my sister and I at the top of the ladder going, oh, wow, we're here. It was a shock. It was a shock. And it took me a few years to really go through that passage. And that's a passage now, looking back, that I realize is so incredibly important. And it's so incredibly intense. And it so deserves more than we give it, or more than we have given it, you know, in our usual societal norm place that we hang out. So that was the seeds of the course. And it wasn't even conscious at that point, or it wasn't even formed. It literally was a seed.
Wow. Because it sounds so beautiful. It sounds so much like what we all need. Childlike wonder, and learning to tap into that ageless wisdom that it holds. I know the work that I do, not all of it, but a part of the work that I do is working with people with, inner child issues, and with
Oh,
past life trauma, with child trauma. And one of the things is they lose that wonder. They lose that innocence. And it's such a blessing, and it's so thrilling when you see them find that again, when you see them catch that. And that is where our inner wise woman is. It's right in there with that inner child. And so that's why you put the two together in such an amazing way. I love it. I love it. And so one of your things too is also that you're really big on connecting to nature, back to earth. You wrote a book. What was the name of your book? I love it. It was Conversations with Gaia.
Conversations with Gaia, Mother Earth's living body of wisdom. Beautiful. Yeah.
What is that book about?
That book, wow. First of all, I'll just tell you, I got the call to write that book. It was, there's actually another interview about this, so maybe I'll skip this part, but I got the call from Mother Earth to write this book, and I did. And it was quite a process. It took about 5 years, but I knew that I would do it because I was asked so clearly by the earth. I was lying there one day just needing to ground out and relax and feel the connection. And I just heard this booming voice say, I want you to write this book. I want you to write Conversations with Gaia, the feminine needs a voice. So I said, okay, but I'm in the middle of my master's program. I got all this stuff. I can't do this now. And it was a number of years later when it finally came to fruition. And there it was in my hands, a real book. And it is in conversation format. It's not even question answer format. It's more like I spent time communing with the earth and myself on the land, living outdoors for extended periods of time in some of my favorite hot spots, the really power spots, and I would just, I think what I want to start with is early on, this does go back, now it's going back. Early on, the childlike part, I started to realize that there was a lot more to me than just my cognitive thinking mind, which is where I predominantly lived in my 20s. And, that's where I lived. And when I started tapping into like this place that I like to call, out of mind, in body, that's when I could feel my connection to the earth. I could feel my connection to my childlike self. I could feel the energy starting to move through me. And I'm going, what's this? None of these, are these, all this spiritual work I've done, they're talking about meditating and being still and quiet. And I can't even contain it. I'm not still and quiet at all. The spirit's moving through me. And I want to jump and play and sing. And that was what I was starting to do. Now, did I trust it all the way? No, I thought I was weird and odd and different. And, I wasn't. So when the book was finally finished, I wasn't ready to put it out there. And I was like, I can't say this stuff. So I kind of went in the closet for a while, and it took me some maturing. As you can see, it took me a few wisdom lines to really pop out of my shell, I think. And this is my opportunity to do it. I have always been, here's my little secret, I've always been so afraid of public speaking. I even went through college and I had to give talks, and I did it, but it's not been something I've ever been comfortable with. But guess what? You can't share work. You can't share your gift. You can't do anything without speaking it. Even
Right.
though I would prefer people just show up, be in our presence, and let it happen. But it's not the world we live in.
Yeah, I haven't met anyone that isn't afraid of public speaking yet. I don't know, maybe Michelle is like, because she's been in the industry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but it can be debilitating until you do it. When you do it, then I mean, it gets a little bit easier each time, definitely. And
yeah,
also,
that's what they
yeah,
say.
if
That's
you
what
don't
they
mind,
say.
it does. And I think we have to get out of our own way, because I've done a lot of meditating on public speaking, because I used to be painfully shy and would have panic attacks and anxiety and things like that if I even had to speak up in class or anything like that.
Yep.
So so for me to be doing something like this and having, I've been on stage in front of people before speaking about my thing. So it was like, whoa, that is big, huge for me. And it just shows that's what courage is all about, right? Walking through something when you are terrified of it and still doing it anyway. And then you're like, whoa, that wasn't so bad. And actually people are really pretty nice anyway.
People are probably a lot less hard on ourselves than we are on ourselves.
Well, I think that what I found is that when we're speaking, we are so afraid of being judged. Right. And I found that people aren't judging us. They're just thinking about themselves anyway, how they look to the people around them. We're all worried about how we look to everyone. But besides the point, I wanted to go back to what you said about, if you don't mind, turning 60 and how that was quite the revelation for you, I guess, or
Good word.
dark night of the soul, maybe a little bit. And it what brought to mind was the triple goddess. I find that we have not been honored the triple goddess in Western society enough, because when women turn 60, I think it's right about that age, might be a little bit sooner or earlier, that is something to be revered. And there's celebrations about it in indigenous cultures and things like that. But our society is taught that it's a bad thing. And it's not to be honored and revered and embraced. I mean, think about it. You don't have children to raise anymore. You don't have to worry about all the things you had to deal with. I mean, we go through and triple goddess is maiden, mother, crone phases, right? And so it's an amazing time. And you even said it, Ningay, I love that. This amazing time in a woman's life. We have all the hard work behind us. And so we've moved into a new phase of our life that's just so exciting, because now it's all about us.
Oh, can I say something about that?
Sure.
That just sparked something. This happened when I turned 60, and this surprised me too. I realized I had done everything that I said I would do, that I wanted to do, that I thought I came here to do. And I looked at my life and I went, oh my gosh, I healed this, I got my master's degree. I wrote a book. I did all this stuff. And then I went, I'm done. Well, then what's going to happen now? I thought, I'm done. Am I done? Am I leaving? What now? So I think the point I'm making here is there was like a lull, but we could call it maybe a new fertile space. I just didn't know what to do with it in my mind. My mind wanted to think of it in the only way that minds can. They try to correlate one thing with the other, and it was like, am I going to die?
That's our biggest fear.
Of course.
Besides public speaking.
Besides public speaking, right. And
It's
snakes.
right up there. They're right up there together. Isn't that crazy?
Oh boy. Yeah, for me, snakes. Anyway.
Oh, snakes. Oh.
So I I really got to be in that empty space. And it did feel like an empty space for a while. That was the awkward part too, that empty space. And I knew from doing the work that I do that it was going to be a process, because one of the things I teach, I guess, is that I tell people, you know what? If you want to go somewhere, you're trying to open the door to go somewhere else and to be somewhere else and be someone else. And guess what? You've got to be standing in front of that door to go through it. You've got to be where you are in order for the next thing to open up. So I knew that, and I knew that, this was going to be a process, and I was going to be sitting in it, and I was going to be allowing it to forge me, to shape me, to reshape me, I suppose. And I didn't know what it was going to be. But then that's the creative process, which is another thing that I am passionate about. The whole creative orchestration of life just thrills me. That's like that childlike thing. I'd much rather, how we talk about manifestation, and I want this, and I just can focus and I'll get exactly what I want. Well, what I discovered early on is that I may get that, but I probably will get that, but it might not be what really my heart wanted. And then I'll get it and I'll go, oh, now I don't care. What's next?
That's the human condition.
And so I just stopped like being so specific and asking, and I just went, I want it to be like Christmas. Bring me what's the next best thing for me? I like being surprised, and I want to trust. My walk really, as the childlike divine child archetype, I call it, has so much been about learning to trust. And it has been a walk for me. I mean, trusting to the point where I most of the time do not have a permanent home. I am a gypsy of sorts. And the thing is, I love it. I sold my house, got an RV for a while, and this was a long time ago now, and my daughter was turning of age. And 7 years later, I look back and go, oh my gosh, it's been 7 years and I've never had a permanent residence. I didn't even notice it. It's like,
good for you.
Gee, I guess this is me. This is my lifestyle. So trust, that big word, that faith word, it's a walk, and of course it's a process.
Yeah,
that's so fun. And it's so important to be able to be in that space where you are present to what's happening. I even had it this morning. I had an appointment with the client, and it was all planned up. It was something super special. It was supposed to be in a special place. It was going to be this big thing. Well, it didn't happen. And she was very, very upset. She's like, well, why is that? And what is it? And am I wrong? But it was like, no. Let's just take a nice breath. What's presenting itself now? And this whole big thing that we were going to do took a shift into something way bigger than what we had planned. And so it's so important to be able to go with what is happening in the present moment, what is presenting itself right here, right now, because that is what needs to be addressed. And we can have our hopes and dreams, of course, but to be in the present moment and to work with what is coming to you, what the universe, God, Goddess, Creator is bringing with you, is so powerful.
Yes.
So powerful.
Right.
Yes. And fun.
And fun.
It's fun to watch it unfold.
That's what we are. We're creators. That's what we do. And if we're not creating, we're creating whether we know it or not. We're constantly creating. But if we're not consciously creating something, why not create what we want, because we are creating. Our words, our thoughts, our everything, our actions are always creating. So why not create something that's fun and that we want in life? Yeah, that
childlike wonder thing. I love it, because that's where I want to be. I want to be in playtime all the time.
Right.
And I know this. Oh, it takes just being in the moment.
Exactly.
Otherwise we're like gone. Where'd I go? Yeah. Where'd my mind go? I got to go reel it in.
Totally.
and in the moment. And that's why, this is what I love about nature, is when we're out there connecting with nature, we can feel it in our body. It's palpable. It's real. So we don't have to try to make it, it's like I don't have to keep affirming, oh, I feel grateful. Oh, I feel grateful because, oh my gosh, I feel this enormous overflow of whatever you want to call it. Is it love, is energy? And of course you feel grateful because that's the state of things, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's kind of the nature of the universe, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is.
And when I turned 60, that's been just this past September. So it's it's not been that long ago, but I gave myself permission to play. It was like, you know what? I'm 60 now. It's been a long ass walk, and I'm playing from here on out. And whatever it is I do, it is going to bring me joy. I'm going to have fun, and it's going to be playful, or I'm not doing it. And it's amazing the things that showed up, because one of the things that I'm doing is I'm creating a membership site. I'm learning all this new stuff and the ways to get my work out there and my classes out there and reach more people, and doing it with that playful attitude. And it just keeps like boom, 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 getting bigger and more fun and more wonderful people. And that's how the universe works.
It's pretty simple. It's either contraction or expansion. And expansion feels like fun and lightness of being, and contraction can feel, tight and dense and scary sometimes.
Yeah, and that's kind of law of attraction 101, right? When you have excitement around it, with it in creation, when you have excitement around it, the universe brings it to you a lot faster than if you're trying to create something, but there's no fun and excitement about it, and you haven't focused on the excitement of it, and you're just kind of going through the motion of attracting something, because prosperity exercises and things like that, we've all been through them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So you have to be in that space of in the present moment, like what you were talking about, Ningay, being in the present moment of feeling it and knowing it, and in that excitement of what you want to create. And that's in it. Boom, it happens very quickly when you're in that moment of it. I've found that's been my experience for sure.
Yeah.
And much bigger and more than we can even imagine. It's just so fun.
And that's what's great. That's what's so amazing about the crone stage, because your responsibilities as the mother are
keeping children alive.
And raising children are behind you, and so you're in that space of being able to tap into your purpose and what you can bring to the planet, and it helps, and it fills us up, and if it fills us up, then it fills up those around us.
I like to say we can start breaking the rules. It's like who's going to be there to who's going to like slap us on the hands anymore. We're getting older. Nobody's going to come up to us and say, hey, you can't do that, lady. I mean, they might, but who cares, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't work anymore. And I don't remember when I turned 60. It's been a while. So I'm looking forward to 70.
No way.
Yes.
No, my gosh.
It kind of gets to roll off our backs. So anyway, the course it really came from this desire to help people through this transition, but not just help them, of course, share my experience. And I've got some tools in my box, but also to create a community, to invite a community of people to form together, because this isn't like, here, do my course and you'll be fixed and you can go out and do this and you won't have this happen anymore. I don't know how realistic that is, or else maybe I did my course wrong. I don't know. But anyway, here's my experience, is that it's a process. Here's my real experience. Nature taught me this. if Mother Nature taught me one powerful kick-ass thing, it's that we're not in a vacuum. We are constantly in a flow. So your energy is constantly feeding me, or it's constantly draining me, or somewhat in between,
Right.
whatever,
Right.
because we're not in it alone. What I give out is being felt. We're always moving the energy. And because of that, we actually need that reflection. We need that. That's what children didn't get. Okay, I'll go back to as a child. One of the places we get stuck, right? The inner child gets stuck is they never were given, they never got modeled the ability to allow their feelings to flow through and be there. Because what do parents mostly do? Oh, don't feel that. Or here, oh, honey, it's too bad. I'll hold you. Instead of, oh, wow, what you feeling? You're feeling that, huh? Oh, I got that. Yeah. Just making space for those tough, contracted feelings and emotions to move through. And most of us didn't get that reflection. So in a community, we get to start being that reflection and giving that reflection. And really, I created this course for me because I need that reflection. I really do. I'm not in a vacuum here either. I can't just keep creating a course or writing a book. I have to give it out so it can actually feed me back. It feeds them and then it feeds me. And this is maybe the obvious that we all know, but I always like to, put it into context for myself. My experience is that I need a community reflection mirror.
Yeah. And Ningay, where can people find your community? Now, do they need to go through your course to join the community, or do you have a community that's already being created?
Oh, good question. Oh, I love that question because it's very pointed and I can direct my answer to that. The community is being formed as we speak, but it will probably mostly come out of the course, because the course is going to give you the course is in two parts, level 1, level 2. Level 1 is pretty much the foundation. It's going to be, connecting with the earth, with self, being authentic, being able to move your energy, know how to handle emotional flow. And that will solidify us in that foundation that I call trust, being able to trust because we can feel it. And then the second level will be much more about the creative process and manifesting, moving into the movement of becoming, and where are we going now, and the legacy that we are, our own personal brand of wisdom and wonder that we each are. So the course, I'm going to let you go back and ask me the other part of that again.
Well, I was asking you if you have a community already created or if it comes out of the course. And I again want to say the course title is 8 Secrets to Reclaiming Childlike Wonder and Ageless Wisdom. And I understand it starts February 20th. Is that correct?
Yes,
so it's
does.
Coming up. How do people go? Like, where do they go to sign up?
Okay, well, they can go to the site to sign up for sure. They can come to a live Zoom. They can email me or you or
So
whoever.
we'll have
they
your
can contact
details.
us. The
We'll have your
details.
details down there in the details. So anybody watching that
Yes.
that wants to go to your course and
Yep.
take your course, we'll have the details down
Yep.
there.
But I want to make sure that people know that this is happening now.
Right.
We're talking
away.
about
That's
that
true.
there's something super fun coming
It's
up really soon.
right around the corner. Yes,
Yep.
it is.
I'd like to go back to your comment, Ningay, if I could. You were talking about having a community, and I hear that so often with people that they don't have a lot of hardly anyone to talk to when they take courses or when they're learning and going through their spiritual progress and waking up, or whatever you want to call it, growing, that type of thing, spiritually, personally, with that growth. So I think that's really important, and I applaud you for recognizing that and providing that space as well. So as I understand it, your community will be open as well to the people after they take the course. So they can communicate there. You are still part of that community, that type of thing, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I haven't even really thought about this, but I don't know that people have to take the course to be part of the community. It's not a join thing so much. It's not like a membership community like you're probably talking about for yours. I have that option, but it's not at that stage right now. I think it's much more organic. We'll see who shows up. It resonates with the work, and then we'll just kind of move into that community, and I'll keep it, going, of course. But I've got a Facebook group called Wisdom and Wonder with Ningay. That's happening, and there's interaction going on there, just starting up. I'm just starting up, like you guys are just starting up.
I love it.
This show is just starting up.
So,
yes, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So the course, something is percolating that I think I want to say. So let me just feel it. Oh, I have to be honest. The course is going to be an experiment, because this is the pilot. And I'm so excited for the people who are showing up, because a few of them are my friends already, of course. So that's really nice. And I'm going to get to see how now all this work that I've been doing for the last couple years is it's sort of like I've brought together the technical part in a way. And it's the same thing with writing a book. It's like I'd be out on the earth receiving the communications, and I go, yes, I get it. But then, oh my gosh, to put that into words, an understandable word, that to me is the hard thing. So it's kind of the same with the course. I had to put it in words, and that's what took so much time. And now that it's in form, you know how they say with a dancer, you got to learn the technique first, dancer, singer, doesn't matter what. And then you can let go within it and improv, right? It's kind of like that, I think. I think the course will be, here's the framework. Here's the framework. I want you to jump in and do the framework. But then the energy that we tap into, that we generate together, will actually form and shape what that course is really wanting to become. And it's going to happen out of who we are, who shows up. So I hope that whoever shows up is the kind of people who know themselves as like, ooh, wanting to be at the front end of things and letting them percolate and see what happens. The experimenters.
I'm sure whoever shows up is perfect for your course, and it's all in perfect timing, divine timing.
Yeah,
definitely.
It always is.
Yeah. It is, isn't it? No matter what. Yeah, we learn that as we go. Especially the challenge. Yeah, part of the experience. I mean, the experiment. This whole thing is an experiment, but I love it.
It is. It is. And I don't think, and another thing about just being this childlike being, I say stuff that is, people will go, well, yeah, I know that. But what I know is that they think they know it, and they know it in their heads, but they don't know it. We don't really know something until it translates through every feeling body cell in us, and we act accordingly. Otherwise, we're carrying it and we're trying to integrate it, and we're wanting to be like that person. One of the things that I say about the course is we really get to become the best version of ourselves, because I think we've lived in the cognitive, technical realm for so long that there is such an imbalance. The triple goddess, the feminine, there's such an imbalance. And we're not going to just flip the other way like I did. I kind of just flipped the other way. I mean, I lived for years like, I love living out of my mind, just like in the presence, just like childlike. But that's not for everyone. And there'll be a balance. I think what we need to bring back is, what has been missing is that I don't think our rational minds were ever meant to be the drivers. they were meant to be in the back seat, and our internal guidance system was meant to be flowing and moving and growing with life. And then our thought forms would get in line with that. But we struggle so much with dealing with our thoughts, trying to change our thoughts and that's a hard struggle sometimes. Thoughts are, you got to twist and turn. And it's like, no, I don't want to think this. I want to think that. To me, it's just a lot easier to go in and feel. It's like, what do I want to feel? And feel it. We have the power to generate what we feel.
Yeah.
And that's what we think. So I'm a little backwards. And that was one thing I didn't want to say when I did conversations with Gaia. Made me realize, it's like, why is everybody saying thought creates? And like, all these spiritual people would like kick me out of the room, I'm sure, if I said that. But it's like, why is everybody, vibration creates, feeling creates, and then thought aligns with that. I don't know. I came in the back door. What can I say?
But it's all correct.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's the chicken or the egg, isn't it?
Exactly. Because I know part of what my work has transmuted into over the 20 years I've been doing all this work is helping people to learn to get back in touch with feeling. And feeling that it's okay to feel, it's okay to be in that space. So to okay to feel what you feel. And I do this whether I'm doing, psychic readings or healing or, coaching, whatever it is. It's like we've gotten so far away from feeling, everything is outward directed. And it's such a revelation when people begin to feel again. And not be afraid of maybe some of those feelings that are like, I don't like that, but it's okay. It's okay because it is just a feeling, and we can move through that, and we can dissipate, we can transmute that energy, but it's just learning to do it. We aren't taught that anywhere.
No. And it's all
And
about
so-
balance, isn't it? Balancing the feelings with the thinking part of our who we are. So balancing it out, I find is where that's balancing the feminine and the masculine is the way I see it.
Right.
Walking a tightrope.
Yeah.
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 Feels
yeah.
like
then,
that sometimes.
But as we work on it and what I was taught, my guides will help me remember. I always say, they're not teaching us, they're helping us remember, right?
Totally.
Yeah, it's so important to be aware of our thoughts and understand where they're coming from. Okay, right? And whether we want to keep them or not. They taught me if it's a good thought, why, hey, that's a good thought. Why not keep it? It's part of source. Good thoughts, positive feelings, all that good stuff. And good thoughts create positive feelings create good thoughts, right? So there's your catch-22, I guess, the chicken or the egg. But anything that's heavy or is that doesn't feel good, let that go. They always taught me, rule of thumb, what is negative or heavy, whatever you want to call it, is not yours. If it's positive and filled with love and light, all of that makes you feel good, then it's yours, because we are source. We're expressing source. We are God expressing. And so if it feels good and it fills you up with love and light, then it's yours. That was my rule of thumb. Let it go. If it's, and it could be something from your past, that's fine. We still have to let it go. It could be somebody else's stuff, and be an empath. We're taking it on. Let it go. It's not yours.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is this learning to define what's mine and what's not.
Yeah.
I guess I do
good,
it
none of it's
differently.
mine.
And I say what's interesting too, the more connected we are to nature, in my experience with myself and clients, the closer we are to nature, the easier it is to define that.
Yeah.
There's something about the purity and the clarity within nature that we begin to align with that helps us to be clearer in the thought and even in the feeling process too. It's nature is so important. And
totally.
Nature clarifies.
nature
that's what she does.
clarifies.
One of
And
the
yeah,
teachings
that's
she
what you
gave
said,
me
yeah.
was, she told me, it was like, I'm like a washing machine. Think of me as a washing machine. Give me it all and I will purify it. That's who I am. And that's who you are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice.
So in that process, because nature is moving at such a high vibration, when we start resonating with that vibration, like I have a really high metabolism. I can eat and eat and eat, and it's like it doesn't stick to me. Like, emotions don't stick to me, and nothing sticks to me in a sense, in that way. And what happened in that process is, honestly, even the positive and negative fell away, because after a while, positive and negative is just an interpretation in our minds anyway. And if
right.
thoughts are starting to fall away and flow and just become, I started noticing, oh my gosh, I am the flow. I am the container. Oh, isn't this fun? Everything is moving through. So really, everything got redefined.
Yeah.
It's like there's what I teach in one of my signature processes is called the check-in. I've been doing it for years. We had this group called Gaia group for many, many years on the phone. And that's what we would do, check-in. But what it is really is, it's not a support, it's not talking about, it's speaking from. So we just speak from our direct experience. This is what's happening right now. And what that does is, oh, I'm noticing right now in my body, oh yeah, I'm having this tight thing go on. And my mind saying, oh yeah, you better stop that, Ningay. And it would be like this literal reporting, like a child was going, oh yeah, and this is happening. Oh, why is this happening in my body? And it'd be like this literal reporting. And something about that process was so deeply profound that it seemed to strip away the layers of persona that we literally glom onto and hold onto. Because if you see children, their personalities aren't all that set until we teach them to make it be set in stone.
Right.
Otherwise, they're like, whoa, I'm this now. Let's see what it's like to try on this. It's like clothes. Let's try it on. Let's see how it works. But we have fears. And fears, I think, at least for me as a child, the fears that parents transfer to their children unwittingly, unknowingly, energetically, they're absorbed. They're absorbed, they're digested, they're integrated into the body. And so then now what are we doing? We're trying to let those things go, or work through them for ourselves.
Right. I love what you said. If I could go back, sorry, Michelle. Can I go back to something that Ningay said?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right.
You just had I just kind of went, oh, that's what that's about. But you
Okay.
go,
Hold that thought.
and I'll
Okay.
bring up the back.
Okay. Good. Awesome. We work together so well. So what you were you were talking about how everything flows through you. When I was, not when I always work with my guide, Yeshua. And I get in really challenging situations. I'd ask him and I'd pray and I said, tell me how in the world you would handle this. And it was usually relationship stuff at the time. How would you handle this or anything else that was really challenging for me? And that's exactly what he told me is I just let it flow through me. Just let it flow through me. I'm aware of it, but I just let it flow through me. I don't let it stick, just like what you said. So yeah, there you go.
It doesn't. And so it doesn't. I'm basically lazy. This is what I've concluded. I'm basically spiritually lazy, so to figure out, is this mine? Is this theirs? That's like too much trouble. It's just, where's the stuff?
That's why he gave me that rule of thumb. If it feels good, it's yours. If it's not, it's not yours. That's why he gave me that rule of thumb. It's easy.
For me, it's just like, whatever it is, just feel it. Lazy Man's Guide to Enlightenment. All you have to do is feel it. And that is the tricky part, because it is just too scary to feel, right? That's really, there are so many feelings that we just don't touch. And then the worst part of it is we're not even conscious of the fact that we're not touching them. So we can't ever change. We can't change our creation. One belief I have that's come from just my work with myself is that we are obligated to experience our creations. In other words, unconscious, conscious, whatever they are, however they came, life is bringing them back to us in the form of feeling and thought patterns that just seem to not go away,
Right.
because we are really deep down wanting to experience our creation without fear, without judgment, in this purity of pure sensation, feeling, whatever it is. It could be tears of joy, tears of pain, whatever it is, it's our creation in that moment. And out of that, we can then create anew, but not until we've embraced that creation that we've been so trying to push away, that we've so been trying to pretend isn't there, talk ourselves out of.
Yeah, and that kind of goes into the whole gratitude thing, being grateful, being present with what is present.
Mhm.
Thank you. I might not like it so much, but thank you,
Yeah.
because it's here for a purpose. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
You know what? I wanted to say something. You just completely like made me realize kind of something that I've been doing for a very long time. You know, I do a million different things, as people in our field kind of tend to do. You know, I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, I'm a healer, I'm a life coach, I'm a language, you know, I'm an author, I'm a voice actor, I'm an accountant. You know, I do all these things. And about 10 years ago, when I realized, oh my gosh, I'm doing this for a living now, I need to like do business stuff. I had a business coach say, well, Michelle, you got to pick one thing and go with it. And I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, you know, let's meet next week. During this week, I want you to think about what it is you want to do. And then we're going to do it. Well, by the time I got to the end of the week, I was in tears because I wanted to do it all. Why do I have to choose? And you just made me realize that is being in the childlike, experiencing what it is that's flowing out of me. I want to paint. I want to play guitar. I want to play piano. I want to play with numbers. I want to heal. I want to do psychic work. I want to do it all. I don't want to choose one thing. And this poor life coach, I mean, I didn't really, I think she ran away because I was just so much, you know, and it was that childlike part of me, because there's so much child in me and it's so big and broad. And I was literally in tears going, I can't choose one thing, you know?
Yeah.
If it kind of brings up tears right now, it's like, I can't choose. I want to do it all. I'm here to do it all.
Yeah, and you
And
shouldn't
she
have
was
to
just like,
choose.
no.
That's
mean,
the
that's
beautiful experimental child. Look at you.
Yeah.
And it's saying to me that I haven't tried it all. How can you ask me to settle?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
here, you're going to go to college. What are you going to be? It's like, whoa, give me time to find out.
Yeah.
Might take a lifetime. Maybe I'll never become what you think I should, but who cares if I'm happy?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's
maybe
the
it wasn't
creative
supposed to
part of
be.
us.
Yeah.
That's the creative part of us, totally. And you know, when you stifle that, the creative part of us, when we are putting ourselves in or put in this box that you can only be one thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm an expressive artist.
Mhm.
I'm an expressive artist. That's not the only reason. I didn't have a particular talent for one particular thing. And I call myself an expressive artist, and I love it because I dabble. I have enough ability in all of them. You know, I can write, I can sing, I can play a little guitar, I can do watercolors, I can paint, you know, I can do enough to express myself.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
brings us on to another subject that's dear to my heart, which is, you know, we live in a culture that seems to make us commercialize art and artistic expression when it's ancient for us. I mean, we didn't paint on caves because we wanted to be noticed and someone tell us what a good job we're doing. We painted on caves because we have this grand impetus to not only create, but to communicate.
Tell a story.
Creating is communicating, right? And it was coming out of us. It was literally coming out of their fingers.
Yeah.
And they weren't like, oh, this is me. Isn't that great? They were in life. They're going, wow, life is coming through me. It's moving through me.
Right.
And we've lost touch with that, you know, the spirit of life that we are versus this personality that we think we are and should be. And it's causing a whole lot of pain and suffering and ruckus in the world, really. We so need to get out of ourselves and become what life is calling us to be. The planet needs it now, you know, more than ever.
You know, I've noticed one thing, or this has become apparent to me, that some of the best art, whether it be music, painting, sculptures, whatever, comes from pain. So, and I've noticed some artists that I used to listen to, they're with music, I love music. Their music was the best for me when that artist was going through a really tough time in life.
Yeah.
And then when they weren't going through those tough times, their music just kind of, you know, okay, well, whatever. It just didn't have that same depth.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because it's always pulling from the deeper archetypal. I mean, art, it's not ours. We have the skill to shape it, but it's coming from those deeper places that we're so longing in our soul to access, right?
Right.
I used to have a friend who was a great guitar player and singer, and I would just dabble. And, you know, he said, oh man, I'm going through such a tough breakup. And I said, oh, well, did you at least get a good song out of it? Because
So
we all
true.
know that it takes us, and it's true that probably the most, the highest I get on energy is when I've come through a deep emotional passage and am in this grand expansion that is just, it's awesome, because life doesn't stay one thing, and we wouldn't be able to experience that awesomeness if we didn't go through these tiny little crevices that hurt so much and cause us such contraction.
Right.
Because life is breathing, and that breath is contraction.
In and out, yes. And believe it or not, that's why we come here.
And we don't teach it.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't teach it anymore. And even music and art and all that stuff isn't in the schools anymore. There's no way to express and flow this energy.
Oh, that's too bad.
You know,
The light is changing in my room. I'm just going to go shut this door because the light is
okay.
We're back.
They didn't even know we left.
Now they do.
Okay, now they do, exactly. We paused for a second for a little break, but we're back. Yes. Where were we?
You know what, Ningay, I want to ask you something. I really am excited about your course, and I'm considering even joining it.
You mentioned that to me.
Yeah, I love it. And I got a little conflict of something else that I'm committed to. And I'm kind of seeing if like how I can work it out. But one thing, and this is a question that I had, is, so it's from February 20th to March 20th. Is it like every week? Like, tell me a little bit more about how you're doing your course and kind of what are you doing?
Yeah, I know. What am I doing? Yes, this is where I get to practice getting very specific. So level 1 of the course is 4 modules plus a little orientation module and a little completion module. But basically it's over the course of 4 weeks. So each module will be a week. We'll complete a module a week. It starts on a Sunday. We're going to do the orientation, and then module 1 will be available for people to start. I've got people who are working full-time still, so I've made it, work for them so they can start doing module 1 on Sunday. And then they can work on their own time. I'm thinking, and I'm guessing, because nobody's done it yet, I'm thinking maybe an hour a day, for 5 days in that week you'd spend. But it really depends, because I teach very differently, because I don't teach about trying to grasp it cognitively. I teach about how we absorb information, and all you need to do is to be available. So really the teaching is going to be about how to prepare ourselves to be available, to let it in, to let the energy in, to let the images in, because it's created in image form on PowerPoint and very artfully. I like doing that, designed. So you can do it on your own time. There'll be some journaling, and you don't have to do it. And people can put in as much energy as they want or not. It just depends on you. And then on that Thursday of the week, we will do a live Zoom session with me. People will come to me then with questions wherever they might be hung up, clarifications they're needing, work they need to have done. Hopefully I'll have time during that session to do some one-on-one. I'm going to make it as experiential as possible, given that we are on, online on Zoom. And Zoom's done a pretty good job, I think, of, the hand claps, the raise your hand, the breakout. It's nice to have that. So we'll do that. And then each new module will show up on the next Sunday. So you can pretty much, except for, I would highly suggest, of course, I don't want people to miss the first orientation. That needs to be done live. And then the Thursdays, of course, will be recorded, but way better to be there live if you can. Of course, you're paying money for that. So jump in. And speaking of money, actually, it's a really good deal, because I'm giving people the pilot price, the experiment price, because you're the experimenters. So you get my pilot course price, which is a discounted price. And then if you're my friends or family, you get even a greater discount, because you can bring a friend free. So that's kind of how it's working at this point.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for explaining that, because, people put classes and courses and workshops out in so many different ways now.
Yeah,
and
true.
I love that you're doing, some of it is video that people can work, and then some of it live too. I find that for myself, not only what I provide for my clients and students, but also taking other people's classes. It's so nice to be able to get a little, not necessarily one-on-one with you, but some live connection with you, because it allows for you to really experience and understand the whole course better.
Yeah, it's the integration time, really, because they're going to get what they get, given who they are and what they can let in. And then hopefully that session will really round it out and bring the integration, and I'll be able to see the pieces that need to come in for the participants. So I'm excited and looking forward to it, and I'm hoping I'll have enough people. I'm thinking I want like 8 people. I've got 4 now.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So we'll see. I think I got 4, and I just got someone. I think what I'm finding, this is what's interesting, is interesting, maybe not so surprising, but it's kind of delightful. It's one of those surprises, right?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, I'm in. It was like my friend goes, oh, I'm going to do it. And then later, a couple days later, she goes, I don't even know why I said I was going to do your course. What are we doing again? And nobody's reading all the materials I spent all this time working on my web page and my sales page. It's like nobody cares about that. They're just going, oh yeah, I'm in, because it is an energy. It's sort of like, when you're meant to be in a course, or if you're not quite sure, but you can feel the pull, you can sort that out. There's lots of ways.
Yeah.
In the sales page, there's like a whole, here's a list of questions. If you answer 6 of them, yeah, you probably need to join this adventure kind of thing. So I've made it easy for people to kind of know whether they want to be there or not.
Yeah. And it's so wonderful. I know a lot of people have a very short attention span right now.
Mhm.
Because I know I've gone to look at things. Oh, this looks really interesting. Let me find out more. And the page keeps going and going.
It
I'm like,
does.
okay, it's not for me. Yeah, it's too much. I'm done.
And you know, that comes from, that's a whole marketing thing, which I didn't understand. People go, hey,
Yeah.
you need to do a sales page for your course. Because I'm new at this, everyone. I'm like a newbie. Okay, sales page for my course, right? No, that's not a sales page. A sales page is like 20, could be 20, 30. Because the point being, now that we're not doing brick and mortar and we're not person to person telling people and talking with them and they're feeling our energy and, you know, they're making a connection,
Yeah.
everything needs to get answered on those pages. So the pages are set up very specifically so that you scroll through them. If people don't want to and they get the course, they'll just sign up. Otherwise, they could go to the clear to the end if they want and read everything.
Yeah. I
So,
know. I actually have taken courses on those sales funnels is basically what they are, and have worked on trying to understand them. And I'm just like, I finally hired somebody and she's like, we're not doing that. I got a whole other idea. I'm like, oh, thank God.
yeah.
But it works, you know, whatever is what is in place for you is what is for you. And it's perfect. And you have so much to offer. I mean, I'm sure people have a lot of questions. And so they can go to your website.
They can go to the
more
website
information too.
and they can go, I'm doing live Zoom Q&As for people like this. I mean, a lot of it might be what we're doing, but people can come and go, hey, I want to know this, I want to know that. Whatever's not on the website or on the sales page, they can come and join a live Zoom and they can experience some of my work, because I'll just work, you know, I can work quickly usually.
Well, and where is that live Zoom presenting? Is it in your your Facebook page, Wisdom and Wonder with Ningay?
Yes, when you go onto the course page, actually, there'll be, not very far down, there'll be email sign up. As soon as you click that email sign up, they're going to ask you to put in your information and you'll be on the email list. You can always unsubscribe if you don't want to be, but it'll give you everything that I offer. The free Zoom,
Awesome.
free gifts. I have a couple of little processes on there that I offer, and it just tells you where to find the course. It'll just give you everything, a little welcome
So fun.
email. We'll give
Whoever set you up well.
Yeah, thank you to Podia.
Yay, Podia. She did good, you know, and it's a lot putting all those pieces together. That's, I mean, I kid you not, I took a class, it was 4 months long. And I got to the end of the class, I'm like, all right, I can do this. And I started to dive in. I'm like, I still don't understand. It takes a specific kind of mind.
It has stretched my learning curve beyond what I thought I could go. But now that I have a much better sense of it, it's like, oh, I'm so glad I did. This is exactly the perfect, you know, format really to put it in. And I've got people who today, the person who signed up just said, he said, and you know how untechy I am? And I said, I know, and I got this worked out. I'm going to be able to show you, you know, in the orientation, we're going to go through how to maneuver the course. So I'm going to make it as easy as possible for people, because I'm one of those people who has just struggled with technology and don't want that to be a stumbling block, because the course is so much about being able to experience without having to go into thinking mode a lot.
Yeah. And, you know, it's interesting, since we've all been, you know, this whole pandemic-y thing we've been going through, so many people have had to switch to some technology. And so there's so many people that are getting on board with it. Because I know I started going online several years ago. And back then I had people going, Zoom? A what? How am I going to do? I don't know how to do that. There's a lot of like, no. And now everybody's got Zoom on their phone, on their iPad, on their computer. They're like, no problem. Bing, bang, boom.
I can even do it now.
Exactly. Oop, you're on mute, baby.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, I
There
was
you go.
I was just saying it was definitely a push for me because all of my classes were in person, all of them. And I kept getting that, maybe you should start doing online. Yeah, I'll integrate online with in person. I put it off, and then boom, all of a sudden I needed to learn Zoom and online right away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
did, and
yeah,
it's fun.
Exactly,
But I
exactly.
do enjoy in person. I do a couple things in person still, and I enjoy in person too.
yeah.
Oh,
I
me
do
too.
too.
Yeah.
Actually, the work I'm putting out there is really meant to be done in person. And I'm hoping that I can start being my little gypsy self and go around and do a tour of the West and,
Mhm.
do little living room, actually hands-on. There's
Yes.
one process, one breath process that we'll see how it translates. It seems to be a little tricky for people, but it's better hands-on, but I'll be able to pull it off. But
Yeah,
it's like my really, it's like the crux important one.
yeah.
So what do you think people right now would want to know to know if this course is for them?
I think that you've done a really good job of sharing
Yeah.
what it is, and if they're interested, they will definitely go find you. Yeah,
True.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my feeling.
yeah,
Mhm.
you've given so much information and so much wonderful personality and your love and your heart behind it. That's really what people
That's
listen to.
important.
And that's
Yeah.
why we do this kind of stuff,
Mhm.
so that people can
Yeah,
be seen for what they are, because videos really do show so
they
much of a
do.
person.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. And I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm seeing you, I'm seeing me sometimes if I look. And there's this interaction. It's just so nice.
Yeah, and we're
This to me feels like community. This is so much more me than just getting on there by myself and
yeah,
talking.
yeah,
The interaction, the questions, the dynamic interchange,
Yeah.
exchange of energy and communications. I really love that.
Michelle and I were talking about that earlier, how when doing a class or a course, I've we talked about how it's so nice to have the people right there with you
Mhm.
that are, in the course or that type of thing, and vice versa. If we're taking a course, I'd rather be with everyone in the course and be with the
Yeah,
instructor there, and that way I
yeah,
can have my questions answered, or you get a vibe with, because as you're doing, especially when you're doing a course that's for any amount of time, you start getting in vibe with everyone in the course.
mhm,
It takes, I notice it takes a couple days for people to kind of, open up and start talking to each other and getting to know each other. Because I've done retreats with courses, and I have my own now too. And it might take a little time before people open up, and then you're like, by the end of the course, you're like, oh, we're best friends. We
yeah,
can't stay longer. I
yeah,
wish it was
exactly.
going longer. So,
yeah. I miss
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I do. I miss
yeah.
that. It's been a while since I've taken any in-person classes. I miss people.
Zoom is definitely
Yeah.
second best, but I'm grateful for it, and I think it's doing pretty well.
Yeah,
I,
absolutely.
it's
Like,
doing
look
pretty
at
well
this
for most of
magical.
us.
This is so magical. I mean, Sharon's in Oregon. I'm in California. Where are you at, Ningay?
Northern California.
Northern
I
California?
am literally positioned between three mountain ranges. It's so wonderful because I'm at the very top of California where, the valley sits there and the mountains surround. So I've got it on three sides. So it's pretty
So
remarkable and
you're in
amazing.
Shasta area.
I am in Tehama County, but almost in Shasta County. And the
Okay.
mountain is about 2 hours from me, but I
Okay.
see it. I
Yeah.
walk to the river. I'm on the Sacramento River and I see the mountain.
Nice.
And the house actually has a view of Mount Lassen.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
it's really nice.
It's
Um,
beautiful.
I thought of something about that I'd like to share about the course.
Yes.
When I asked, what do people want to know? This is what I'll offer there. So who would want to take my course? So, it's not like, oh, a person who's a male or a female or a professional or, housewife. It's not like that. It's more like if a person is going through, say, for instance, they're getting ready to retire, they're going through a transition in life. That's one perfect person to come to my course. Transition time, somebody who's struggling, of course, emotionally with something, like they just haven't gotten over the hump, or someone who's definitely feeling that, oh my gosh, old age is just around the corner. Those people is who the course is designed for. And also someone who has always wanted to be creative, but has kind of been in the closet and hasn't allowed themselves to explore in that way, because we use art, but it's not a necessity. You don't have to. You can use whatever tools you want to use and you bring to the course. But if you've really wanted to tap your creativity more, and now that you're retired, you have time to do that, but you just have all of this head stuff going on about, I'm not an artist, I can't do that, and why even bother to, whatever it is, we can like recede that to the background so that you can come out and play.
Yeah, I've been taking some art classes recently, and the teacher, she's so wonderful because she's like, she gives you a few techniques and then she just turns you loose, and it's just mushy layers and colors. And I'm like, yes.
That's the best.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
The best
so
way.
good. My whole dining room.
Finger painting.
Yeah, I love that.
Finger
Yes.
painting is
My whole
lovely.
dining room is now my art studio. And my
Good
poor
for you.
housekeepers, when they come in, they're just like, oh God.
Good for you.
So
That's-
Ningay, it's been a pleasure to talk to you tonight. Thank you for sharing.
You are so welcome. This has been a delight.
Good.
It's so good. So really quick, Ningay, give us your website, just so we have it on here. Just give us your website. Just so we have it on here. We'll have it in the links. We'll have all that information. But just tell the folks out there.
It's pretty easy. It's wisdom-wonder.com. Wisdom-wonder.com. Now that's the website. And it's a lot, because if you don't know me, it's got all my products on there. It's got my book on there. It's got everything that I've done pretty much on there. Has a lot of offerings, but not far down, you're going to come to, you can get on the mailing list. And then next you're going to see, if you're interested in 8 Secrets, the course, you click on that and it will take you to the page that has all the course information on it.
Nice.
So wisdom-wonder.com.
I love that name. I love it.
And by the way, one more thing.
Yes.
Ningay, you said my name was lovely. It's Chinese. It's actually my name. My Chinese grandmother gave it to me when I was born. I'm half Chinese and half German. And it means patience.
Oh.
Yeah, later on in life, I realized, I think my grandmother must have known I'd be a late bloomer or a right on time bloomer.
Right on time. Yeah.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, ladies.
Oh,
you're
thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you. Mhm.
And thank you, Sharon, for all your hard work.
Thank you, Michelle.
You
for all
do.
your
You
hard
do
work.
so
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, I love
I
you.
love you so
I
much.
love you. I love you.
And we love you too, Ningay.
Oh,
we
thank
do.
you.
Yes.
Fun.
We definitely feel your
Yay.
heart, and everyone watching, thank you for being here again. And we love you too.
Come play in my course.
Come
Yes.
play in Ningays
love it.
Course. Yes, totally.
All right,
All
everybody, until next week.
That's right. Mwah.